Hello friends, good evening to all of you. So I'm back with another video on sociology optional subject for UPSC CSE mains examination, and in this video we are going to cover social reforms, a subsection under impact of colonial rule on Indian society. So friend, please do these 3 hours as it will really motivate me to continue this awesome course, and recommend and share so that more and more video people will get benefited. Comment and like the video and ask any doubt if you have, and hit the subscription button below the video as hard as you can. So friend, as you know that we are covering slot 2 autonomous topics, and in this video we are going to finish impact of colonial rule on Indian society by covering social reforms. Then from the next video we are going to cover tribal communities in India. So let's get started with social reforms. Now, as you know that the history of social reform is not new in India, and it can be seen in the efforts of Gautam Buddha, Lord Mahavira in the ancient time, and in the efforts of Kabir, Dadu Dayal, Guru Nanak in the medieval period. Their main issue were to eliminate or abolish the caste-based inequality and humiliations. But the organized social reforms was initiated only during colonial period, when Indian society came under the influence of modern ideologies like freedom, equality, justice, humanism, and etc. So under these ideologies, the modern educated intelligentsia realize that there are many evils, customs, and practices that are prevailing on the name of religion in the Indian society. Now, various social reforms were initiated by Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, Swami Vivekanand, Surendranath Banerjee, Justice Ranade, Dayanand Saraswati, sorry for the mistake, here is comma, Pandit Ramabai, Mrs. Annie Besant, Mahatma Gandhi, Dr. Ambedkar, and etc. So basically, the efforts of social reforms can be categorized in 2 parts. The first part is that those modern intellectuals who started convincing and pressurizing the state to make required social legislation to eliminate evil customs. These efforts resulted into enactment of Sati Prohibition Act, Hindu Widow Remarriage Act, Sharda Act, and etc. Whereas other reforms formed their own organization to initiate reforms with their preaching, practices, and spread of awareness. Dayanand Saraswati, Swami Vivekanand, etc. are some of the examples. So basically, during colonial period, social reforms had largely 3 subject matters. The first one is religious, superstition, orthodoxy, ritualism, ideal worships, and polytheism, that is many god, etc. Then women related issues like sati, widow remarriage, child marriage, girl education, parda system, prostitution, devdasi system, and etc. Then here the third part is, or the third subject matter is the Dalit related issues, which involves untouchability, entry into the temple, their education related problems, and welfare, and etc. So now the social reforms which were initiated during the colonial period has very limited impact in terms of its outcome, because the first one is that these reforms were centralized around urban area, especially like Calcutta, Bombay, Pune, Lahore, etc. Though it has a very limited spread. These social reforms were largely based on modern values like equality, justice, logic, etc., which were not being understood by illiterate or uneducated masses. After the revolt of 1857, the state adopted the policy of selective intervention, and hence the required state help was not available to push these reforms. Brahmanical orthodoxy and its reactionary measures further neutralizes the efforts of social reforms. Now, the initiative of social reforms did not give the required outcome, but as Vipin Chandra said, it laid the foundation of modern India. At least in ideology, the issues get the public platform, which resulted into severe discussions among the groups, evaluation, criticism, and etc. Later, after independence, all these issues of social reforms were incorporated into the constitution and social legislation for the better and enforcement, which has resulted into the abolishment of some evil customs like sati, weakening of some of the customs like child marriage, dowry, female infanticide, and etc. But still many evil customs are practiced, which is required to have a strong measure to abolish it permanently. Now there are some of the claims of some social reforms that I will going to cover, because you have already read these social reforms in your history general studies preparations. So I am just giving you a glimpse of these some social reforms. First, fight for the betterment of position of women. The desire to give expressions to their talent and energies were suppressed by practices such as parda, early marriage, ban in widow, remarriage, sati, etc. Polygamy was prevalent among Hindus as well as Muslims. Their glorification as wives and mothers was the only way in which society recognized the contribution of women as a member of society. Abolition of sati, influenced by frontal attack launched by enlightened Indian reformers led by Raja Ram Mohan Roy, the government declared practice of sati or the burning alive of widows illegal and punishable by criminal court as culpable homicide. So regulation of 1829 was applicable in first instance to Bengal presidency alone, but it was extended in slightly modified forms to Madras and Bombay presidencies in 1830s. Now, female infanticide, the Bengal regulation of 1795 and 1804 declared infanticide illegal and equivalent to murder, which an act passed in 1870 and made it compulsory for parents to register the birth of all babies. Then widow remarriage, the Brahmo Samaj had the issue of widow remarriage high on its agenda and did it to popularize it. But mainly due to the efforts of Pandit Ishwarchan Vidyasagar 1820 and who lived 1820 to 91, the principal of Sanskrit College, Calcutta, that the Hindu Widows Remarriage Act 1856 which legalized marriage of widow. Similar efforts were made by Professor D.K. Karve in Western India and by Virsalingam Pantulu in Madras. Then child marriage, the Native Marriage Act or the Civil Marriage Act signified the coming of legislation action in prohibiting child marriage in 1872. The relentless effort of a Parsi reformer, that is B.M. Malabai, were rewarded by the enactment of the Age of Consent Act 1891, which forbade the marriage of girls below the age of 12, which is further reduced by the Sarda Act 1930, which pushed the marriage age to 18 and 14 for the boys and girls respectively. Then, education of women. Christian missionaries were the first to set up Calcutta Female Juvenile Society in 1890. The Bethune School, founded by J.E.D. Bethune, the president of Council Education in Calcutta in 1849, was the first fruit of the powerful movement for women's education that arose in the 1840s and 1850s. Now, Pandit Ishwarchan Vidyasagar was associated with not more less than 35 girls' schools in Bengal and considered as one of the pioneers of women education. Now, these are some social religious reforms among Hindus. They are given here, so you can read from here and make note out of them. And these are the important ones, religious reforms among Hindus. That first one, Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Brahmo Samaj, Devendra Tagore and Datta Bodhini Sabha, Keshav Chandra Sen and Brahmo Samaj of India, Pratna Samaj, the Rosio and Young Bengal Movement, Ishwarchan Vidyasagar, which is in, and these all are in Bengal. Then in Western India, Bal Shastri Jambekar, Students Literary and Scientific Societies, Paramhans Mandalis, Jyotiba Phule and Satyasodhak Samaj, Servant of Indian Society. These are in Western India. Then Southern India, there are Shri Narayan Dharma, Paripalana Movement, Vokkaliga Sangh, Justice Movement, Self-Respect Movement, Temple Entry Movement. Then in all India, we have Ram Krishna Movement and Vivekanand. Then Dayanand Saraswati and Arya Samaj, Theosophical Movement, and etc. So these are some religious movement among Muslim. Wahhabi or Waliullah movement, sorry for the pronunciation, Ahmadiyya movement, Sayyid Ahmad Khan and Aligarh movement, then Deoband movement. These are among Sikhs. The first one is Singh Sabha movement and Akali movement. And these are among Parsis such as Rahnumai, Mazdiaz Sabha, sorry for the pronunciation. So thank you guys for listening me and watching this video. So please do these 3 hours. It will really motivate me to continue this awesome course. Comment and like and ask any doubt if you have, and hit the subscription button below the video as hard as you can. Thank you guys.